Yo, guys, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls around the world, wherever you're listening to, tuning in. Welcome back to another episode of the Gomu Gomu No Talk podcast, podcast where we talk all things One Piece, daily news, or weekly news, uh, chapter reviews, and episode reviews. I'm your host, Lyle. I also go by Raboy or Rabizi online. Follow with me is my co-host. His name is Austin,
Yep.
but he also goes by Dingo Dongo,
Yep.
the Stromboli
Online.
boy. Or, you can also know him in this podcast as the god of TFT himself. But
Yep.
we got a lot but before we continue, guys, we got a lot of things to talk about. But first, I just wanted to say, whatever you're listening to, that being Spotify, YouTube, or Instagram, make sure you give us a like and subscribe on our YouTube channel and follow us on those social medias.
hmm
And also we're coming out soon on more social media as well.
Yep.
Make sure you guys check that out. Tune in for the future. So give us a follow, subscribe, give us a like if you guys want to tune into more episodes. So I guess I could pass this off to Austin himself, and we're going to talk about what's on our agenda today.
Yeah. So I guess for our agenda today, we're gonna be going over the anime. The anime just came back after a 6 month hiatus, and specifically two episodes came out 11/23 and 11/24. So if you haven't watched that yet, go watch that and then come back. After that, we're doing the manga review. Chapter 11/45 just came out this weekend, so we're gonna be reviewing that as well.
Yeah. Also, since this is gonna be our first time doing an anime review on this, on our podcast. If you have seen our previous episodes, we haven't really done one before,
Mhm.
but we're gonna try to keep things spoiler free. We'll
Yes,
try our best
we're gonna
because
try our best, and
um,
yeah, we might have to cut some of it out if we do
oh
spoil
yeah,
it.
we can fix everything in post, okay?
hmm
And there's gonna be some timestamps in the bottom too, in the description if you guys want to
Yes.
splice through the episodes of things we want to talk about. So,
hmm
man, let's get right into the anime. But before we
I
go into the
know.
anime, dude, like I gotta ask you, like, what the hell have you been doing? Or we can see, what
Yeah.
have you been like? Have you been like watching or reading anything since like this our 6 month training arc, our
Yeah. I
time skip?
guess. Well, it was nice because obviously the anime wasn't coming out, but the manga was still coming out pretty consistently. So obviously I was reading
Mhm.
that. But like watching wise, like I felt like the last season, winter season, was not that good. I watched Solo Leveling, but I don't know. I'm actually so excited for One Piece coming back. Like I can't even tell you how excited I am. It just feels nice to have something to watch every single weekend and look forward to. What about you though?
Yeah. Um, I've been pretty busy with school and stuff, so I,
hmm
I I try to get into other uh things to, I guess, look forward to aside from just watching and reading One Piece every week. I've been reading since our time skip.
hmm
I've been reading a few books. I finished what's that one book I was talking about? Powers for Algernon. I thought it was pretty good. I started
hmm
reading The Idiot by Dostoevsky.
hmm
It's pretty good. I really enjoy Flowers for Algernon, but in terms of
Dude,
like
that's a
anime
fire
and
book.
other shows, yeah, no, that
That's a
shit
that's
fucked
a
me up.
classic.
I've never read it in high school, and I know some people read it
hmm
in high school, but I've never read it. Um,
Yeah,
but
that's a top tier book.
I haven't really watched or read any other anime.
hmm
Aside from reading the weekly One Piece chapters too,
Yeah.
and where they're at right now in the manga is absolute cooking. So
Yeah,
I've,
we'll
I've
get into
been
that
I
later.
I've been enjoying. Yeah, we'll get into that
We've been
in our
eating. I
chapter
feel like as
reviews
One
there.
Piece fans, like we've been eating so well now.
I've been eating just in general, bro. Like just like my cheeks
hmm
is flaring out,
Yeah.
my stomach. I've been looking pregnant, and it's I'm on that Usopp
Yeah.
right when he disappeared
Right. Yeah.
from Sabaody, you know.
hmm
Uh, but
Yeah, I guess
yeah, I
we can
mean,
just
like,
jump into the anime. I felt like
oh my god,
it's been a
go ahead.
while. I haven't watched since the last episode came out. Obviously, it came out like it ended with a pretty good episode. It ended really strong. And so I
Yeah.
was very curious how the story would like it would jump back into things, if it was gonna
Um,
be like the pacing specifically.
yeah, the thing is, I've been really enjoying like watching the anime for One Piece because um it is a nice callback to things that I may or may not have missed.
Hmm.
Like it is much easier to visualize things through an anime than just reading because sometimes you miss a thing or two.
Hmm.
And where they left off in the anime with the Kobe Odyssey impact, man, that was peak. Like in terms
Yes.
of just animation of how hype it was, I thought because I remember reading that in the manga, I was like, get this lame
Yeah.
ass. It wasn't lame. It was really cool, but the way they portrayed it in the anime made it a lot better
Hmm.
than what
I think it's more
the
of
manga
just like
did.
our internal monologue. Like the way we read it just doesn't have the same effect as like obviously the voice actor just killing it in the booth or getting killed in the booth. So
Yeah.
because I also
And
remembered it being like obviously it was a hype moment, but I remember thinking the name was like kind of odd. I'm like, yo, why
um,
is he trying
why does
to
it be
feed
so
off
honest,
of
man?
Garp's aura?
Yeah, but you know, I thought as a comeback because like as you guys might know, like I'm fairly new to One Piece. I've only been like a fan for like about a year, maybe a year and a half.
Hmm.
Um, how like has there been like long breaks like this in the anime
Mm,
to
not
this
really.
magnitude?
Not like 6 months. Obviously, I know that they're re-releasing the updated version of Fishman Island, but like a 6 months break was like very unprecedented. Like I don't
Mm,
think we've ever had a
okay,
break this long ever.
yeah. That's crazy, man. Like One Piece fans have been like as a weekly show. That's crazy. Like it's
Hmm.
how much content you get. We us fans get every week.
No, but I
But
felt like it was a
it-
pretty good break. Like let these animators chill for a little bit.
yeah, yeah. Listen, I don't. I'm not gonna say what I was about to say, but they got him locked up. All right, we
Hmm.
know how hard these animators work.
Hmm.
Not just Toei, but I guess like let's actually get into these episodes.
Hmm. No, yeah.
We can start
Let's
off
just dive right in.
1123.
Yeah.
Dude, I want to talk about the intro, man. The
Hmm.
intro and the ending. And one thing I wanted to talk about in terms of the intro and ending, and my friend had brought it up because I
Hmm.
usually, whenever I watch intros, I just like everything just goes one in one ear, out the other.
I'm the exact
Everything
same
goes over my
way.
head because I try not to take two things too deeply. But my friend
Hmm.
had mentioned this, and I wanted to bring this up: is how much of an emphasis they emphasize Bonnie
Oh
in
yeah.
both the intro and the ending
Hmm.
because obviously these animators they know something, they might know some things that Oda might be cooking up.
Hmm.
And do you think like maybe it's a hint that hey, like Bonnie might be a future Straw Hat member
Hmm.
in a part of the crew?
I mean, I feel like if we look at the track record of like even the last intro before this one, you could tell the intros definitely do have like a bit some spoilers. They definitely hint at exactly what's about to happen. I feel like that was pretty evident. But with Bonnie, I'm not, dude, I don't know. I'm just
They should be a cool member. I
yeah, but also you got to remember she's also like an 11-year-old girl. She's
mm,
actually a kid.
I mean, but like every pirate crew has their apprentice, their the rookie.
Yeah, like
Shanks is on
Shanks.
Roger's
Yeah.
crew.
Hey, that's true.
Bonnie's and Bonnie was good enough to be part of the worst generation and be like 12 years old the whole
Hmm.
time. um,
But I feel like
I it
for
just
her, like joining a crew, like it really depends like what her aspirations are, you know what I mean? In which I feel like it's still not entirely clear, but who knows?
I mean, we'll find more things out as the anime goes on.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, aside from that too, I thought the intro just in itself was like really cool. I
Hmm.
really like. I could compared to other intros I've watched. I'm not gonna like say sit here and be like I watch every single One Piece intro, but I really like the intro. I really like the song too.
Hmm.
I feel like it's one of those, it's a song I could, just play in my car on the way to work,
Yeah.
on the way to class. And yeah, I mean, what else? Did you like anything? Did you want to add anything about the intro?
Mm, no, I mean I thought it was pretty good too as well. I'm not too big into intros and outros, to be honest.
Mm, no,
I like to just get
that's
right into it. I'm
yeah.
definitely I'll
No,
watch
I'm
it one time typically at the beginning and at the end of like the arcs, but I'm definitely not someone who watches the intro every single time.
okay.
But like I guess something I
So
wanted to bring up about the episodes. I mean, in both episodes in general, but dude, the animation's pretty clean. I really
oh
like
my
the
god.
animation changes they made, especially for Egghead. Like the way the colors pop out, the way, the characters look, as well as like even when they're fighting, the art style is like a little different now.
There was some cool action sequences, especially
Ooh.
I think on 11/24 I noticed when
Yeah.
when all the ships were outside, right, of the island where they're going through everything.
Hmm.
I thought that was really cool too. Like I guess not just I don't know how to explain, like not just the standstill shots, right, where it's like
Yeah.
moving around the world, right? It doesn't look bad. I really don't know how else to say it. It looks very
No.
fluid, and I really like the way that it was animated.
Hmm.
So yeah, no, they definitely have been doing a really good job, with their break. And I guess now, like, I don't know how far back they started working on the episodes.
Hmm.
Because I know we've had it was a 6 month break, but I don't know when they started working on these episodes too. And especially it's a comeback. It's a comeback episode. They got to make sure it's really good for these guys,
No,
for
yeah.
the fans that have been waiting. So I guess to get into like 11/23, what did you think about 11/23 in general?
I like the way that they kind of like were reintroducing the story of Egghead. I felt like it was nice that the episode just started off with basically a summary of Egghead so far, but from the perspective of the outside world, Yeah,
Mm,
and like you can see like everyone's reactions specifically. I think it's in like Luffy's hometown, like all of them reacting to the news of like, oh, Luffy is holding Vegapunk hostage, we even see what's her name, Dan
the
Dot,
Don, the
the Don,
Don.
yeah. So it was actually really nice seeing all these old characters like come back and see their reactions to like what's going on.
Yeah, it's not just the old characters. It's like just the civilians, the NPCs of the
Actually,
world. Yeah,
yeah.
because like we gotta like understand, right? It's we watch, we have a full POV, first hand POV of what the Straw Hats are doing, and we know that they're not evil people.
Hmm.
They're not. They're at the end of the day, they got their own dreams, aspirations, but none of it is ill will.
Hmm.
But the world government and Big News Morgan, all these stuff that they pump out, all the propaganda, it's these guys are menaces. It's
No,
like
yeah,
we got to think about, like, Luffy's been on the seas for I think like 2 years, right? Like pre-time skip, he was like I think it was like supposed to be like half a year. Then
yeah,
he went to like the 2 years, and then like um I don't know how long the post time skip's been in terms of like length, but it's probably been like
yeah.
around like half a year again as well.
Hmm.
And Luffy's done a lot of shit in
Oh
those
yeah.
two and a half two
I was
years,
gonna
and
say
it's like
since the
everyone
time skip, he's done a lot.
and seeing everyone's reactions of the people that don't really know the Straw Hats, right?
Hmm.
Um, about like, oh man, this guy's fucking nuts. This guy's
Yeah,
got Vegapunk hostage.
yeah.
Like, I remember this. I really liked reading that when I was reading in the manga, just seeing everyone's reactions of like the news that's going on. But like, it's crazy how much similar to our world, not to get too political, right? Of how like the government can control a lot of the information that comes out, and a lot
Hmm.
of the stuff you see, you might read, might
Yeah.
not really be what's actually happening.
No, I guess, and to add
So
on to like just people reacting, like it was also interesting seeing everyone reacting to like the sea levels rising, is specifically
Oh my
after
god.
the I never get this right, but the Lula Siena event,
Lulucia.
Lulucia, yeah. After that event, you can see everyone just reacting to like some people are feeling earthquakes, some people are getting like tsunamis. So like you're seeing just everyone react to all these different kinds of events, and then it just
Yeah.
cuts right into the introduction of like the admirals and the nine vice admirals that I think they're part of like the Buster Call that's been sent to Egghead.
Hmm.
And dude, the animation for Kizaru just killing the mech beast
Oh my
immediately.
god.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, I was kind of wondering if we would see any action like coming back. So it was nice to see that too. And that the
Because
animation is gonna be clean.
we haven't seen Kizaru since pre-timeskip in terms of like action sequences, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like
Yeah.
unless I'm like, misremembering, I don't know if there was like something that he had like a small fight post time skip. But man, that shit was so fucking badass when I heard that.
Yeah. Every time I hear that
And I'm
sound, yeah,
just
I'm just like, oh
and
shit.
then and then I saw the little I forgot what I don't know, I don't think he used the named ability, but when he attacked the sea beast, I'm just like, yo,
Mm-hmm.
I know I've heard that sound before. I
Yeah.
know what that is. But then like the animation looked a little different compared to how it was before. I'm just like, yo, this is sick.
Mm-hmm.
And they also play it off really well too in the next episode with like Kizaru, you know, how he just his attacks in general.
Mm-hmm.
Um dude, another thing too, 11 like 11/23, like you mentioned, man, like everyone's reactions to and the aftermath of the Lucia event, like I thought it was like really nice how well they played it off in the how well they animated it in the anime of
Mm-hmm.
like the seriousness of the event of the sea levels rising.
Yeah.
And I remember this is like something to like kind of like I kind of like I guess is part of me not reading things as in depth as I should have was
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was just like an inch, right? I thought that's
Oh
what I read
no.
in the manga.
I think it
It was a
was
whole
like
meter.
I was gonna say it
Oh,
was like a few feet, like yeah, a meter.
I'm a meter. I was like, what the fuck? And
Yeah,
then I
that
was
definitely
just
makes a
like,
difference because we even saw I think it was Water 7 reacting to it, and we already know that they're already
yeah,
kind of sinking, so it's definitely not like for them. It's like they're noticing it like way more.
yeah. No, a meter is it's crazy, and seeing like how everyone is just getting affected by it, it's nuts.
Hmm.
Um, and it's like, man, I'm really looking forward to seeing how else, you know, more things from this arc, just because they've done such a good job with 11/23. As like a like nothing too crazy, right? In terms of just like things happening.
Yeah.
Also, I like that little I guess at the end of the episode they also started talking. York started talking to the Gorsei, right, which
Hmm.
transitions into the next episode.
Yeah.
Um, with I guess that's their start of their escape plan.
Hmm.
I mean that is the name of the episode, right? But like I thought it was like super cool just watching just York, just like chained up on the
Yeah,
floor,
she's being held hostage by
just
the Straw Hats. But that
and
that
like
into that conversation between her and the elders I thought was really good. Like all the dialogue
I
was
thought it
really
was
good. And
I thought it
like
was really well done,
yeah,
very
specifically
very well done.
the conversation of like I guess it's like the four elders cuz what's it called? Saint
Garcia is on his
Saturn
way.
is also here. That's something we saw in that episode. Is like he's also on the ship, but he doesn't want anyone to know, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
they're wondering if York can like make the mother flame, you know, like from with the factory on Egghead.
Because they had the intentions of killing her off too,
Hmm.
but York was like, please, flaming she'll drive, and I
Yeah,
can make the mother flame. I can be useful.
yeah.
I
She's
can be
like,
useful.
wait. Also, one thing I really liked was Sentomaru calling Kizaru like Unc. Like he
Yeah,
literally
uncle.
refers to him as just Uncle.
Yeah,
In which I guess
I
I might not remember clearly, but like, was that did we know that prior to this that like they had this relationship between them?
In the anime, I'm not really too sure.
That was something I
Um,
like while I was watching. I really couldn't remember because even
well,
the last
you
time we
could
saw Sentomaru was a long
infer
time.
you can infer based on their dialogue between each other
Mhm.
from Sabaody that they were like closer than usual, right?
Yeah, I could tell
Just
like
like
they knew
I
each
guess
other, but then I didn't know he was like unk status, you know?
yeah, Ungstad, yeah, but like I feel like by the way, like these animals are like menaces, right? Everyone's like
Hmm.
a lot of people scare them, and like the way Sentomaru is just talking to him
You
from
know.
Sabaody was like he was just like a fucking like he was nobody.
Yeah.
I think you can like kind of infer that they might have had something brewing in the past, and I guess it is easier to say that
Hmm.
knowing that what we know,
Yeah.
but you know, yeah, I thought that was pretty funny too. I thought I thought the whole going through them doing that video chat with the Seraphim was pretty funny.
Oh
Seeing
yeah.
like Hancock, like no matter what version,
Hmm.
Luffy still got her. You know,
Yeah.
Luffy just knows something. It's just he's just so clueless. It's funny as hell. And
Hmm.
also, like with Luffy being clueless too, I thought it was so funny, like how he thought his plan was gonna work. Like, he's like, yeah, just we'll let her go. Just get out the way
Just
so you guys
leave,
can let us
yeah.
leave. Just leave, guys. But like, yeah, that'll show them.
Yeah, after this
So I was like,
entire
yo,
fortress just like pulled up, he's like, yo, just leave.
yeah. Um,
Mm,
I also thought just Lucci at the end.
bro, yeah.
He's still one of the not the the MVPs
Dude,
of the Marines.
that pissed
Just
me
still sitting
off,
in first.
bro. Especially because like when you hear the way the I guess the elders or even like Saint Saturn like talk refers to like CP0, he's just like you know like they mention Saint Saturn notes that there's only like three things that they need to protect, you know. One being York,
Mhm.
two being their brain, which is like the punk records, and then three being like the power plant that creates the mother flame. But he was like everything else is
Yeah.
like it doesn't matter. And then for Rob Lucci is just like snake the straw hatch, you know, even though he knows like, well, I guess he doesn't know, but like they could care less for it, like the situation that he's in, you know.
Yeah. But that's like every like Marine though. Like
Hmm.
I don't know how much because like the admirals, like not the voice sound, but just the regular admirals know
Yeah.
about like what's going on. It's like
Hmm.
I mean everyone also knows that like the celestial dragons are just dickheads. So,
Yeah.
like the Gorosei probably are too. And as Kizaru mentioned in the episodes today, he just obeys, he's just a government dog.
Yeah.
And
I like
that's
that he
what
uses
Lucci
the
is.
term like the Navy's puppet. You know, like he's like
The Navy's
I
puppet.
have no say. Like I'm just here to do what I'm told.
I also thought it was funny when he said, like, you know, what's it called? He said like researching the void century. That's something I can't really, let go either. Like
Yeah, he's like I
that's
can't
something I
let that
can't
one
really forget.
slide.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
I'm a pretty chill guy, but
Hmm. No, yeah,
I can't
I
let
thought
that
the
go.
emphasis on Kizaru in these two episodes really showed a lot about his personality, especially
Mhm.
1124. Like his interaction with Saint Saturn when they're talking about like Sentomaro, like he mentions that he's like, oh, I could like humiliate this guy easily, you know, but
Mhm.
he had like Kizaru has principles and like he would like to stay with his principles, you know, which kind of
He even
like
gives he even gives
humanized him.
Sentomaru.
Yeah.
Yeah, he even gives Sentomaru like that option. Like, hey man, if you
Hmm.
want to come back, just let me know. Like he's not just like if it was a kind, it's like, oh, did you switch sides? It's over. It's
Yeah.
wraps.
Yeah.
It's
He was
over
like,
for
it's
you.
not too late.
I'm sending the hail of volcanoes, the
Hmm.
volcano for Setcher. And dude, that sequence at the end, bro, um when Kizaru uses that you tell what is it called, the something sacred mirror,
Yeah,
and then
something
he just
along those
teleports
lines.
straight into. Oh my
Yeah,
god,
that
dude, that
sound
was so
effect.
sick. And this Sentomaru, just like I got the world's best defense. He went
Yeah.
into
As soon as
his
he said that, I was like,
sumo.
does he really?
Oh
Like
my god, bro.
this guy's coming at
Dude,
the
if
speed
they,
of light, you know?
dude, when I saw that, man, if you guys watch WWE, right?
Mhm.
That shit, if they ever do, I think he's still alive. If they ever do a um a live when they get to Sensimar in the live action, right? I want to see Umaga and pull that up. I
Yeah,
think he might
I'll
have
pull up a
died. The
picture.
recipe, but it's like, dude, like when I saw that, I'm just like, yo, big motherfucker,
Yeah.
big motherfucker coming in. So, and then he stopped him, and
Mhm.
it's just
Dude,
like, and we know Sensibar ain't no joke, right?
yeah.
But Kizaru's an admiral. Like
Mhm.
this
But
dude,
I also
you
think,
know,
especially knowing their relationship and knowing Kizaru having principles, it does feel like he held back a little bit, you know?
right.
But still, yo, Centaur
But
might be him.
yeah, so that's the thing too. It's that's the thing we'll like see because Kizaru is a government dog. He is just a puppet, right? But
Hmm.
at the end of the day, too, he's also human,
Hmm.
and we'll really see like when his morals and his things get challenged, how like he will actually deal with this.
Yeah, and I
So
think
you know,
it's really good that you noted that because I feel like Sentamaru is very similar to Kizaru in this aspect, in which he also has principles. Because I feel like even prior, like he was like, oh, like he was also like a government dog, but obviously Vegapunk like saved him, and Vegapunk was just like, yo, like you owe me, and even he was just like, damn, like I'm
you're
a man
right.
of principles. Like I owe this guy my life. Like I gotta do what I gotta do. In which you can see
Exactly.
Kizaru also has principles, but I think his hands are tied here.
Yeah,
He's
and
getting
also
orders
too,
from like the elders.
man. I think a big thing to talk about too is we'll finally get to see how far Luffy has progressed.
Mhm.
Because last time Kizaru pulled up with the Straw Hats, it was Jover for everybody. He was out here
Oh
just one
yeah,
shotting her, bam, bam.
dude.
and
Yeah.
and now you know we'll see if Kizaru is really holding back.
Mhm.
We'll see what's happening because they're gonna get to a point where Kizaru and the Straw Hats are gonna meet.
Yeah.
Um, we'll see if Gear Five is really what's going on.
Mhm.
What's actually what's up? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. I really liked how the episode ended, especially with like Luffy like mentioning that, oh yo, like somebody's here, and this guy's strong. Like he can see he looks like distressed, and that like he immediately can feel like how strong Kizaru is, and like how much of a
yeah,
threat like that they're all in immediately. But I'm actually so excited to see what's coming next.
and we're getting episodes weekly, baby. So
I know.
yeah, I thank you Toei for bringing it back.
Finally,
And I
my
just
Saturdays are complete.
so let's let's key in. Let's give it our usual ratings,
Hmm.
right? We can do. Do you want to do both of them at the same time, or do you
I'll
want to just do
package
it
them
individually?
together.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to go first?
I'll go first. I and I don't know if this was just like copium because I've been waiting so long, but I was like so excited, and so I would give it an 8 out of 10. I felt like story
Um,
wise it was really good. It told a lot of story. The way it was shot and like the narrative was done really well, especially like 1123. I like the narrative of the outside world, you know, looking at this situation, and obviously the situation that they're reading or watching is definitely different than what's actually going on. So personal enjoyment, I gave it an 8 out of 10. What about you, Lau? What'd you think?
I would give it the same thing, man. I was gonna give it a 7.5 or an 8
Mm-hmm.
because, like, like you mentioned, seeing everyone's reactions, not just from the situation in Egghead. We also see how everyone's dealing with the events from Lucia. Uh, we're seeing callbacks from characters we've known in the past, like the Don, Vivi, the people of Fushi
Oh,
Village,
yo,
all
we
that
also
stuff,
saw. Sorry, we also saw Laboon
and
for the first
Waffle,
time
and
in so
Laboon
long.
too, Laboon,
Yeah.
Waffle, all those guys. We
Mm-hmm.
see them. And like going from 1123 to 1124, well, we see Kizaru, one of my, like, I think like probably my favorite admiral,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just we finally get to see him in action again, um, and we get to see, I guess, St. Garcia Saturn. He's on the way. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's the inevitable.
Yeah,
We'll
he's
see what
coming.
actually happens, and that's what I'm saying. Like I give it around a 7.5 and 8.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
it
I
progresses the story really, really well. I don't really feel like
mhm.
there was like that much. I don't think there was filler. Maybe
No,
that's just
yeah.
coping for me being excited that what's coming back.
No, I think if it wasn't a double episode release, I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10. But I think the fact that there was 2 episodes, um, for me, it just felt like a very fulfilling storyline that they presented. But yeah, I
Okay.
guess talking about storyline, dude, let's jump into this manga chapter.
Oh my
And
god,
obviously, the first
guys!
thing that we have to go over is this goddamn cover art.
Oh my god.
I know we say it
So
every single week, but dude, I don't know how there's still more like Yamato adventures, you know?
wait, let's go on a positive note
Mhm.
first. Let's talk about the cover art, just like the
Oh
first
yeah,
page with the. I thought that was super cool.
that was
I
so
guess that's
sick.
like that's just a celebration of the anime coming back or something.
Yeah,
I thought
because
it was cool as hell.
I really enjoyed that, and then I was like so happy, and then I turned into like the cover the cover art, and I was just like, God damn it, you
Yeah.
know? Like, how is this still going on?
I mean, it's funny too because I feel like it doesn't really progress at all. Like it's like, oh, a few ones before prior we see defeat Yamato defeats who's who, and now
Mhm.
it's just Uta hugging her brother Pepe.
Yeah.
Like, okay, now what? What's going?
Like,
What are we doing? What is going
I'm
on? And it's
surprised they
like
haven't exhausted like all the characters yet in Wano.
I don't know. I don't know who else we have to see. Um, I think I might be
We say
wrong
this every
because
single week though.
I think I mean it's definitely not finished. I definitely could see it going on for like another four parts, 4 or 5 parts. But
Oh
I don't know what
brother.
else they're gonna do.
Yeah.
But let's get past the negatives. I'm not a fan of the cover story. This one. Let's actually get into this chapter.
Hmm.
Um, so we get first thing we see, we get an action sequence from Goldberg and Sanji. They're getting some they're killing some of the animals nearby so
Hmm.
they can heal up
Yeah,
our boy Loki.
they need some meat. They need some
They
food.
basically yeah, they and I thought the cool thing that came up was Goldberg's shield.
Hmm.
I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah,
It
I
was
really like that.
one of the homies.
Hmm.
Like and I still think it's so funny how like Big Mom as a child just terrorized Elbaf. Like these guys are like,
Yeah.
because they talk about that too. Where it's just like the just the name Big Mom just puts
Hmm.
like fear into them. But yeah. So after that, we see Loki finally tells everybody what actually happened. They explain to them that like the Holy Knights were the ones that were there that beat him up.
Hmm.
They explain to them like they're just the Dorsey or the Celestial Dragons like special agents, right? And they're
Hmm.
somewhere over there on the island. And I guess I don't know if they. Sorry, I'm gonna sneeze. They didn't really. I don't know if they really talked about if they were really responsible for everything else that's going on the island. I don't think they really know. They don't know what else is going on
Yeah,
aside
I
from
don't think
with
Loki would
Loki
know
getting beat
that.
up.
But it also might be inferred as just like, okay, stuff is going off on Elbaf, and also the Holy Knights came at the same time. It's like maybe they were the cause of this, like all these nightmares
Mm.
that they're seeing. But Loki
And
informs them of this information, and then I thought the next few like the next few pages were just so funny, like of them
dude,
trying to like I guess nurse Loki back to health, like
I,
specifically Luffy trying to.
dude, Luffy's trying his best, man, and their dynamic. It just like I can see them. I hope Loki joins the crew. Like it's just, bro.
Bro,
It's just
how
I
would
think this
that
shit's
even
so
how would
funny.
that work though? Do you see how
He
big
just walk around,
Loki? What do you mean? He can just walk around.
dude.
Dude, this guy's like the size of like, dude, his hammer is this bigger than the ship, I think.
They can listen, bro. Frankie
Like,
can figure it out, okay?
yeah, I guess.
But like I thought their like interaction with one another was really funny.
Yeah, I think
Um,
the Luffy Loki dynamic is like hilarious. You know, you can see he's like Luffy just feeding him and it's like he's burning him. And then as soon after he's like, oh, like he needs something to drink, you know? And he just comes with like
and I
boiling.
think the boiling like water or tea, whatever it
Yeah.
is. And he's I hear that shit bubbling, bro. Like
Yeah.
chill, relax. What the fuck are you doing, man?
And then they notice it's
Dude,
like, oh yeah, this guy has more burns than before we started.
yeah. Um, and it's so like I think it's cool too that Loki like says like
Oh
he
yeah.
reminds Luffy of like who himself is in the past,
Hmm.
of someone that really eager to see Shanks again. You know, of
Yeah.
how much we find out in this story too that he wanted to join Rox's crew.
Hmm.
And as a child, and we see in Rox and Whitebeard,
Yep.
or I guess he wasn't called Whitebeard yet.
Yeah, Newgate.
It was Rox and Newgate. Were on Elbaf, and you know they have the stereotypical child who's like, I want to join your crew, join your crew.
Hmm.
And
The
Rox is like,
parallels
nah,
are is really nice.
fuck this guy. Never meet your heroes. I think that's like
Yeah.
one thing.
That's what we
never meet
learned pretty much
never meet
from
your
this.
heroes, especially if your hero is Rox
Yeah,
needs it back.
like a true menace. But I like that parallel, especially since the first time we see Loki, like they're already kind of like the idea of like he believes that he's the sun god, you know, like which is obviously Luffy, and then this I guess this origin story of him really wanting to meet his idol, like similar to Luffy. But I love the fact
Um,
that he was like, oh, I was born in the wrong era, you know, after that flashback. You could see how much like it really affected him.
yeah, he, you know, I thought it was really cool too. And like, it took me a second to like realize that he was just talking about how like he wishes he was part of like Newgate and Rogers' big era where he could be like, I guess, peers with Rocks, you
Hmm.
know, and he feels as though I guess he wasn't, and you know, at the time he really wasn't. But I thought that would have been a cool addition of how OP the Rocks' crew was going to be if like their apprentice on the ship was just little Loki, you know,
Yeah.
young Loki, just being a fucking menace, right? But
Hmm.
because even as a kid, like he was extremely
Yeah.
strong too. Like he was, I don't know how old he was when he killed his father, but he was running around Elbaf doing some stupid shit.
Hmm.
Rox's crew definitely could have gone that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
man, but
It
like I
just.
love. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah. It just cuts from that into just the rest of the new giant pirate crew. And
Mhm.
I specifically remember from the last chapter, like when we went over, I was like excited to see Gavin fight, because it ended. I believe
Right.
the last chapter ended with us seeing Gavin with the crew, like I believe heading towards the nightmares to like deal with the situation at hand. But we didn't like we got I guess one panel of him just one shotting the one of the nightmares, but I kind of was hoping for more, to be honest.
Man. Yeah, they hyped him up like crazy,
Yeah.
and we've only seen like a few things, but like again, man, like I can't complain because at least we're getting something.
Hmm.
And we also gotta realize this guy's old as fuck. So
That is true.
what else could it's the same thing with Rayleigh. It's like, Unk, relax, chill.
Yeah.
Uh, but like the thing I want to talk about, bro, is Jinbei.
Hmm.
The Fishman karate is insane. Or like the whole like him like just being a fishman in general, just like controlling the water and shit. Just waterbending, just throwing the what is like the boat? Yeah, throwing the boat at them. I thought that was
Mm.
sick.
Mm-hmm.
It reminded
Yeah.
me of like remember when he threw Luffy onto the admirals.
Oh yeah. Well,
Oh my
I thought it
god.
was interesting because obviously he puts out, a big thing in this chapter is that he puts out the fire, and you know the kids were walking straight into the fire. But that's also where I got confused because they were even talking, like the Holy Knights were talking about it, in which like obviously these children, they even mentioned like they, if they walked in the fire, like they would just die. So like
Mhm.
it made me question, like, wait, why are these Holy Knights like doing this stuff to the children if like even they're saying like, oh, like they're all gonna die. I know previously we talked about like how we think, or was it explicitly said like they specifically want the children to become Holy Knights or like
I don't recall
trainees?
if it was specific. I think it was very inferred, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
they Shamrock did say he wanted to make it into a game, so it
Mm.
could just either be how many giants could you kill or
Yeah.
how many could you capture,
Yeah.
and that's what they're trying to do. But like at
Mm.
the end again, they're working together. So is it really a game? Like, is it just
True.
like like a cooperative effort? I thought it was gonna be like something individually, like which holy knight can capture the
Mm-hmm.
most kids. Um, but like after that, we see after Jinbei like puts out the fire and stuff, we see she finally pulls up on them. We'll see the first holy knight confront the straw hats,
Yep.
uh, Gunko. Um, I'm so excited to see the next chapter of how this is gonna go. Everyone's also surprised. Like, who the fuck is that?
Oh
It's like
yeah.
we see Colin say that. That face never fails to make me
Yeah.
laugh, or just
I
at the
know.
very least a giggle.
I love that face. It
So,
reminds me of whenever I see that face, I always think about, what is it? Sugar from Dressrosa. When
oh my god, yeah,
Usopp's fight with Sugar. I don't know why. That
yeah.
face is just like iconic to me. But yeah, I'm
Well,
also really excited to see, this is because this is the first time I guess it's like about like half of the Straw Hat crew. I know I see like Nami, Usopp, Brook, Jinbei, and I'm not sure if,
man,
no, Robin and Chopper
what
are
do you
with them, but like this is the first time seeing a Holy Knight. Like they don't even know. I don't think they know what a Holy Knight is, right?
what do you no.
Mm-hmm.
No, they don't. Because I think the only person that was talking about the Holy Knights prior was Dragon. Just like,
Mm.
oh, like remember when he was saying like, oh, when they make their move, and I think that was the
Yeah.
only time we've ever talked about Holy Knights in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but sorry, like I'm about to sneeze like crazy every second. Um, dude, one thing I'm really excited to see because we saw in the previous chapter Gunko listening to Brooke's song
Oh yeah.
and New World, and I'm just like, in like, I don't, Odo didn't just mention that just for no reason. She's gonna see Brooke, and
She might be a
we'll see.
fan.
We'll see her reaction. Dude, she might just be like head over heels, like, "Yo,
Yeah.
the Soul
He's the
King." She might be
goat.
fangirling.
Yeah.
That's why he's the go. The go. Um, we'll see how that. I'm really interested to see how that interaction goes.
Yeah. Or
Um,
she could just not
because
even care.
no, because like she still has a little bit of her humanity left, right? Like
Hmm.
she's not like the other. She's not. I swear, she's not like the other girls. Not
I,
she's not like the other holy knights, right? She doesn't have a saint in her name. She's not a celestial dragon, as far as we know. It's like
I mean,
she's
I would
definitely
agree with that, but I feel like the fact that she was leading all the children to their death, I'm not sure. I really don't
she's just
know.
she's just geeking out, man.
Yeah.
It's like when she sees Soul King, she's like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
But we'll I'm really excited to see what's gonna happen there.
Hmm.
But also like one thing I wanted to talk about too is like that we skipped over is just like how ruthless Brock's the Zebek is.
Oh yeah.
Um because like every like it's very mysterious. Sorry,
No,
his
even the
character is very
panels are
his
mysterious. Every time he we see a panel of this guy, it's always black silhouette. Like in this one, in this chapter, we only see his eye. You know,
Those are the eyes,
yeah,
yeah.
we only see his eye, and then obviously
And
we see his shadow. Like, oh, not his shadow, but his silhouette, like walking away. And I thought the interesting part of the chapter was this Whitebeard talking to him was like, "Yo, like I don't think you needed to use a blade on a kid, you know." But I feel like that goes to your point. Like it really shows how ruthless this guy is. Like he does not
he
care.
he
Dude, he
was
beat up a
he
kid,
was a
bro. He
swordsman.
straight stabbed the kid. You
The
know.
more things we find out about Sebek is so cool, man. Like I don't think, judging from like him using a blade, right? I can assume he's probably a swordsman, like in a similar sense to Roger,
Hmm.
and I don't think he had a devil fruit. I don't know if he was
Hmm.
the previous owner of what's this called, Blackbeard's fruit. I mean, know me. So,
Bro,
there's some things, there's
there's a
some
lot of
theories about how
theories.
about what's going on with Zebek, but it's like, man, I'm
The,
really excited to see
yeah.
more Zebek, please.
More lore,
I want
yeah. Every time we get a
more
little
Zebek
pinch
lore.
of lore of Zabak, it just goes crazy every single time.
Because there's also people who like think, oh, he was like, there's a fun theory about like he was like the Buggy of that era, right? And obviously there's a lot of things that dispute that, right? In terms of just like, I don't think Kaido would have mentioned Sebek in that sense of like the people that are very strong that he was
Oh yeah.
like proud to fight with, right? Remember
Hmm.
that panel where it was just him, Roger, it
Yeah.
was like Kaido, it was Kaido thinking about Roger, Odin,
Hmm.
Whitebeard, and then Luffy. And I don't
Yeah.
know if I'm missing anybody else, but it's like, and Shanks too. And it's like, you know, I really want to see more of Zebek,
Yeah.
basically,
I mean,
to
I feel
see his
like
personality
from what we saw, this
and
guy's
why.
him. You
And
know.
like, we need to see why he was so feared that he was erased from history.
Hmm.
And this little glimpse of how ruthless he is. Like, you know,
No,
what
we
else could he
definitely
have
need to
done?
see more Zabek. And something I liked in this chapter too was just seeing anytime like we see Loki's backstory or like something relating to his past, I really enjoy. I thought this one was like really, really nice. Seeing the parallels between him and Luffy. Because they do act kind of similarly, you know? I think they're both like they'll do whatever that they want to do, and even as a kid Loki has that same exact energy as Luffy did,
Mhm.
or I guess Luffy has the
Yeah.
same energy Loki has.
Yeah.
But
Um,
yeah, but I guess that's the whole chapter. Like, what would you rate this chapter?
I think it's an 8.5. I like
Okay.
I really like, um, I thought it was really cool seeing Loki being a big fan of
Mm-hmm.
Zebek, and he had his interactions with him in the past.
Yeah.
I thought, the interaction between Luffy and Loki was really funny. Is I thought
Yeah.
that show was hilarious. To me, it was really carried about like that portion of the chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the new giant pirates in Gabon pulling up on the nightmares and seeing uh Gunko at the end too. It was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I give it like, I thought in terms of progressing the story, the fact that we got some more like bits and pieces of Loki's past, I feel like it progressed the story pretty well. We get to, we might be able to see, infer more of like his intentions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, and there's, we get a little bit of action too. So I'll give it an 8.5.
Okay. That's a good score. Yeah, I feel like I
What about you?
I gave the chapter an 8. Again, I feel like I mentioned last week or like even the weeks before, like I just want to see Loki's backstory. Although this doesn't, ideally I want to see why he killed his father, but I also thought that this backstory was really good. And to me, I was very surprised. I didn't know that Loki, even had a relationship with Zebek, Like Zebek is like a
Mhm.
very mysterious man from what we've seen. So like to see that the two of them like know each other or have met before and that he idolizes him, I thought that was super cool. But no, I think 8 out of 10. I think it progressed the story. I'm always down for story progression. You
Yeah.
know, it's
No, no, no fillers, please.
yes.
um, yeah, I mean, dude, it's like I'm so excited. I can't I keep talking about this. I think I talk about this every episode. I'm so excited to see what's going on because
Hmm.
it's like Elbaf has been just nonstop hits, 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 hits. I don't really think since the what's it called the mural. I don't think the chapters have been
Oh,
boring at all.
yeah.
I feel like ever since that and like the Shamrock reveal, all that stuff.
Hmm.
I guess just like even seeing Loki, like I can keep going back and back, and I keep moving the goalposts backwards and backwards and backwards. But it's like Oda has done a really good job just keeping the story going. And like some people say he's trying to like fast forward it so he can end it soon. And
Hmm.
even still, then it's like because the story's been so long, and I feel like the storylines that he's trying to start wrapping up is going at a really good pace
Hmm.
and not like it doesn't feel rushed to me.
No, yeah. I feel the same
And
way.
I'm super, and I'm gonna say this every week. I'm gonna say it next week and the week after and the week after, week after. I'm very excited to see what's going on.
Hmm.
Um, and please, like I want to see more Loki backstory.
Yeah. That's all I want, to be honest, from the next few
Mm.
chapters. It's just Loki backstory. But
But yeah, I mean, hey, I guess that's all we really wanted to talk about today.
mhm.
Um,
No,
is
yeah.
there anything you wanted to add before we wrap it up?
No, I just want to thank all the listeners for reaching this part. There's a break next week, right? So no 1146 chapter review next week.
Yeah, next week will be a break week.
Hmm.
Uh, we are gonna do another episode next week.
Yes, we will
We're
be
gonna talk
reviewing
about
the
the
anime.
anime,
Hmm.
and also we're gonna definitely do just another fun activity like what we've been
Yes.
doing the past few videos. We haven't decided yet what's going on, but I
Hmm.
guess you're gonna find out next week when you tune in.
Yeah, I'm excited
Hey,
for
but
that.
before we go,
Hmm.
uh, make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys like the video. Make sure you guys like on wherever you're listening on. That be Spotify. Might be seeing us on Instagram. Might be seeing us on YouTube. All social medias will be in the description below if you're listening on YouTube. And you know, yeah. I guess after that, until next time, guys.
Yep.
Peace.